Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today I'll be redoing a video that I've done in the past, where I did a personal top 10 of my favorite 4th gen boy groups. However, this time we'll be doing things a little bit differently. Well, more like a lot differently. Here, instead of listing my personal top 10, I'm going to be taking 10 of the most popular boy groups, 4 of whom I actually didn't even include in the first video, and be ranking them instead. You can see which groups are going to be included by seeing the little montage going on in the background. And essentially every single placement from the first video is different here too. I thought it would be fun to update you guys on how my views and opinions on these groups have changed as time's gone on. It's actually been over 9 months since I uploaded that first video, which is kind of crazy because so much has happened on this channel in that span of time. Like, I think we've over tripled the amount of subscribers that I have, which is just insane. But I'm rambling, we really do not need to drag this intro on for so long. Last couple of things before we start, remember to hit like and subscribe. This video isn't supposed to be malicious, and consider becoming a channel member if you want things like access to our Discord server, a shout out at the end of every video, and access to my podcast, which I upload 2 episodes of every month. You can become a member by clicking either the first link in the description or the join button down below. But without further ado, let's wrap up this intro and talk about the group I put in last place.
Go, nani? Hey,
So coming in at number 10, we sadly have P1 Harmony, who are not a bad group by any means, and who I would say are even the best group in this list when it comes to, say, humor and social media. If you're watching this video, then you probably already know Kiho and how funny he is, but even all of the other members are so charismatic and funny when they post on platforms like TikTok and Weverse, always keeping up with what's popular, and they kind of feel like they're one step ahead of the game when it comes to new trends. However, while I can go on and on about how good they are at branding themselves, I don't have as much praise for things like their music. My enjoyment for their discography doesn't go beyond like a couple of title tracks and 1 or 2 B-sides, and for a group that's less than a week away from being 3 years old, that's not the best look. What I've kind of come to realize in the past few months is that their music ages pretty badly for me. At the beginning of this year, I'm pretty sure there were like at least 14 songs of theirs that I was listening to regularly, but as of now, it's only really like 3 or 4. I don't know what it is, but their music lacks a lot of longevity in my opinion. For example, I used to love Do It Like This, but as of now, I don't even know if it would be in my top 50 title tracks of 2022. I've sort of just fallen out of love with their music with the passing time. So that's why I ended up putting them at number 10. And now let's go on to number 9. So in the 9th spot, I put Treasure, who are a huge hit or miss group for me. There aren't many songs of theirs that I feel neutrally about. It's usually either a really strong like or a really strong dislike, with me more often than not tending to dislike their music. The thing about Treasure is that my favorite songs of theirs are the ones that sound the least Treasure-like, if that makes sense. Like Going Crazy, My Treasure, and the most infamous Darari, or I still don't know how to say that song name, by the way, but you know which one I'm talking about. So while I do really enjoy a small amount of their music, I'm not the biggest fan of Treasure's overall image or sound, which then results in me being less excited for their comebacks, and less prone to me thinking to myself, hey, I want to listen to a Treasure song right now. Of course, I do think they have a lot of really talented members who are super charismatic, but the group as a whole isn't very appealing to me, especially with songs like Jik Jin and I Love You, which as title tracks are kind of supposed to embody what the group is all about. So yeah, discography-wise, concept-wise, image-wise, Treasure really aren't my favorite 4th gen boy group at all. But as always, if they're yours, then that's totally fine. I just don't think they're for me, that's all. So next up at number 8, we have ENHYPEN. Definitely one of the most popular groups on this list, and for good reason. They definitely have some of my favorite B-sides out of any of the groups on this list, which might make you question why they're not higher on the list, but I put them specifically at number 8 for a few different reasons. First of all, a couple of their songs are some of my least favorite songs of all time. If you're familiar with my channel, then you probably know that these songs are Blessed Cursed and Future Perfect, which joined the ranks of songs like Hit Ya by Lapilis and Step Back by Caught the Beat as my kind of Mount Rushmore of least favorite K-pop songs. Of course, there are probably around like 20 ENHYPEN songs that I do genuinely enjoy, but in my mind, ENHYPEN's two most recent title tracks have really tainted their discography to almost the point of no return. Which might not be everybody's opinion. I'm sure a lot of you can really easily just turn a blind eye to a couple of songs that you don't enjoy, and I'm usually the same way, but considering how much I dislike those two songs, it's kind of a special case here. I'm really hoping that ENHYPEN can have their redemption arc with their next comeback or two, but my hopes really aren't too high, which leaves them at that number 8 spot. At number 7, we've got Stray Kids, who I believe a lot of people would argue are the most popular 4th gen boy group right now. Stray Kids are on my stan list, and I do genuinely enjoy a big portion of their music, but recently I felt a little bit off about them. I don't know. While I think a majority of their older albums are genuinely divine pieces of music, their past few releases, barred the title tracks, have been significantly weaker to me. I'm a huge fan of Maniac, and I also like Case 143 and Thunderous, but it's been a few releases now where I've barely saved more than 1 or 2 B-sides off of the album, and I can totally feel my overall interest in the group declining. I think since they come back so often and I've been a little bit underwhelmed for the past few times, it doesn't feel as special when they come back anymore. So maybe if it were up to me, I would have them focus a little bit more on quality over quantity. I'm not going to sell them short. I have like over 40 of their songs saved, but a majority of those songs come from before 2021. In my opinion, the musical quality just hasn't been as consistent in the past couple of years, landing them in the number 7 spot. But just a reminder, that's just my opinion. Coming in at number 6 is Oneus, and I'm just going to preface this now, I'm not going to be talking about any of the controversy that's been surrounding the group recently. Not in this video. So anyways, with that out of the way, the thing that I like about Oneus is where a lot of other groups lack consistency in their discography, Oneus has a lot of it. You can almost always count on Oneus to give you like a 9 or a 10 out of 10 title track with 1 or 2 really standout B-sides on whatever album they put out. Their singles Black Mirror and Loona are some of my favorite K-pop songs of all time. Their albums are also, at the very least, average every single time. Sadly though, there's always a but, and this time I don't think their albums are very often above average. My first comeback that I ever experienced with the group was Black Mirror, and the Binary Code mini album that came with it is one of my favorite albums ever, but that's the only album of theirs that I would say is truly extraordinary. Again, almost all of their title tracks and a good handful of B-sides are genuinely great, but at the same time, there's a huge amount of their discography which I would call, for lack of a better word, mid. Like, there's a bunch of Oneus songs that I would go out of my way to listen to, but nowadays you'll probably never hear me say I want to do a Oneus discography run, leaving them safely at number 6. And now we can move on to our top 5, starting off with this might be the greatest shock in this entire video. At number 5 is TXT. A lot of you might be confused because you know I don't stan TXT and they're actually higher than a few groups that I do stan here. Full disclosure, I'm not doing like a complete 180 on their discography. I'm still not the biggest fan of a lot of their music, but recently I've been a pretty big fan of their overall image. Where I think TXT excels compared to a lot of other boy groups, besides in the height department, is that each and every member stands out individually. With larger boy groups, it's kind of inevitable that a lot of them are going to be lost in the crowd, but each of TXT's 5 members have a really distinct brand and level of popularity that makes them stand out in a really good way. Despite not actively following any of TXT's accounts, I feel like I've inadvertently learned a lot about the members just through scrolling on the timeline, and have grown to like them a lot more than I thought I would over the past few months. They also have some really strong songs in their discography, and I think they might be my favorite group that's done funkier music, with songs like Blue Orange Aid, No Rules, and Drama. I still don't know if I see myself standing TXT anytime soon, but you can definitely tell how much of a carefully curated group they are, and all of the marketing and branding work that goes on behind the scenes has really propelled them to the top, which I really do respect. At At number 4, we have CIX. Now we're starting to delve into my semi-ults, with CIX being here because of how much I enjoy their artistry and their music. First of all, basically every single music video that they've ever put out is completely gorgeous. No matter what, they're gonna give you an elegant piece of videography, ranging in concept from movie star to mythological beings. Even though they're not from the big four, I would say they maybe have the most expensive looking music videos out of any group on this list, despite probably not even having a fraction of the budget. Somehow they also put out good music every single time too. I wouldn't say they have a single bad album, with their most recent album maybe being my favorite yet. It is only 4 songs long, so we're lacking a little bit in the quantity factor, but the quality is still there, and a lot more people need to start recognizing that. My only qualms about the group I've kind of mentioned here and there. First of all, I think the members don't have very distinctive voices, especially compared to each other, and I'm not the biggest fan of their choreography, but honestly, choreography is a bit of a non-factor for me when it comes to standing a group, unless their choreography is really good. Which, spoiler alert, that's kind of the case for the top 3 groups. But yeah, anyways, I just think CIX are super well-rounded, they have a super good discography, and they're super talented as well. So now let's move on to number 3. Coming in at 3rd place, we've got Ateez, another super well-rounded group with members who excel in every single category, and a group whose sound I really love, where some of the lower ranking groups are definitely similar when it comes to how noisy they are. What puts Ateez above them for me is that they bring the energy to the music. Tracks like Fireworks and Wonderland I can't describe as anything but hype, and they boost my energy whenever I listen to them. The power they bring to their raps, the power they bring to their instrumentals, the power they bring to their vocals are almost unmatched. Everything about Ateez is just impressive. Like, how are you doing that choreography and making it look so good? How are you delivering great vocals during these insane performances? And how are you doing it all with a smile on your face? Those are the questions that I would ask if I could personally talk to Ateez. Just an awesome group all around, and I don't have anything else to say. In 2nd place, we have the Boyz. For me, the only group that have more than 10 members and somehow have every single member be super charismatic. Even though there's almost a dozen of them, they all have their individual charm, and there's not a single one of them where I'm like, I don't really care for you, you know? I don't know if that's intentional by the company or if it's just because I genuinely like all of them, but either way, because of this, my enjoyment for the group has just skyrocketed recently. Hearing the news of Sunwoo and Eric coming back from hiatus made me a lot happier than I thought it would, and that was kind of the moment where I was like, wait, these guys are probably my 2nd favorite boy group right now. In addition to that, not only do they have probably my favorite set of title tracks out of maybe any group ever, like their title tracks are strong. Their B-sides have also shot up in quality recently. I've loved almost everything that they've put out in 2021 and 2022. Maybe one of the only groups that I would stay up until 2 a.m. waiting for a comeback for, with the reason being that I simply want to enjoy it. Genuinely such a great group with so much potential to be the next big thing. If you don't already stand them, hurry up and do yourself a favor. Okay, like, nobody was surprised by this, right? I use their songs for both my intro and my outro. I talk about them in almost every single video, and my entire channel is themed around one of the members. So yeah, I think it's kind of obvious that my favorite group of all time is MCND. I love them because I feel like they have the most fun music in all of K-pop. Not only does it have the energy, it also has the just complete infectious quality that makes you want to get up and dance along with it, with absolutely insane choreographies to go with their songs. Like, just watch their dance practices, guys. They're insane. Every good thing that I've said about every single one of the groups in this video apply to MCND, and I would just say they do it even better. My favorite discography in all of music, my favorite group of members in all of K-pop, my favorite group of vocal tones and colors. Everyone has that one group that is just, you know, the group for you, and MCND is that group for me. Previously, I thought I could call myself the biggest MCND stan of all time, but then I went to one of their concerts and I realized there's a lot of competition here, but I would still call myself, I don't know, top 50, but that doesn't mean I don't want more competition. I think all of you should stand MCND and then, fight for the top 50 spots. To get you all started on your journey, make sure to click the link in the pinned comment. If you don't already know them, hopefully this can be your introduction to the group, and maybe you can finally see what I see in them. But yeah, I guess that concludes this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. If you did enjoy, don't forget to leave a like, and if you want to see more of my content, consider subscribing. As always, we end every video by thanking all of our channel members by name, so without further ado, thank you Opeach and ITZY, Woo Twice Tees, Dog, Zeus112, Jackie, Xavier H, Yin Latte, Soda Scribbles, Minakor, Adrian Wang, Shiny, Mizu Monorovie, Fixon Jung, Cassie, Gav, Adifa N, Chili's Cafe, Ale, Che, 97th Heaven, Frosty Plays, Julian Zalazar, Alpha Fox, Edgy Does Things, Namjoon's Lost AirPods, Kukin Love, Kaylin Caster, Sonorinth, Miriam, Flo099, Wu Youngie, Jed, Mail T, Kieran Johnston, Silver Wind, Froggo Bobo, Sunmi Shine, Irene, Mello, Random K-pop Meme, and Jay. Thank you all so much for supporting the channel, and without further ado, I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.